the stigma and pain, the second-class status, the lack of economic opportunity, and the inferior education inflicted upon them in other Virginia tribes. Indian children were released to substandard colored schools. Their parents, wanting to keep an Indian identity, often declined to send them there. Alright? So if you send your child to a colored school, what would they do? Cut your hair, they'll try to Europeanize you, whiten you out, erase your whole identity as an Indian, and that's why the parents were like, no, I don't want to send you there. Often declined to send them there. It says some tribal children studied in lower grades at reservation schools or church-sponsored schools like the one at Bear Mountain. Even in this history of oppression, some Monacans have found a value of a common identity. It's a horrible thing what he did to the Indian people, Shields said of Plecker, but you know what? It gives me a sense of belonging, because I'm grouped with my own people. It kind of backfired with Plecker. He pushed the Indian people closer and gave us an identity. Her brother Johnny Johns is a tribal leader and electrical technician. He's 51, enrolled at Lynchburg College at midlife. He's been learning about the eugenics movement. Johns, whose surname was on Plecker's hit list, regards him in two ways. First, the horror, the terror. Yet he believes Plecker did us a favor because the list of Indian names is there. We know who we are. It's a two-edged sword, duality, alright? So because he made that list, now people can go back to the same list and be like, see, he said we were Indians. We're not Negroes. We're on this Indian list, right? So it kind of backfired to him in that way. In a lot of these treaties as well, like we read yesterday, that because of a treaty, they were able to prove who they are, alright? Monacan Chief Kenneth Brownham, 47, remembers shunning by whites when Indian children were first allowed into public elementary school in the 1960s. School bus drivers sometimes refused to transport them. Plecker was cruel, Branham believes, but he kind of drew us together. We were a tight-knit group because there was nobody else we could associate with. His tribe, which has grown dramatically in recent years to about 1,100 enrolled members, is using federal grant money to document its history. The Monacans are making their comeback with people like Shields and Johns, who were drawn back from beyond Virginia to their family and tribal roots, the place they now call home. Among them is Indian activist Mary B. Wade, who learned only in the late 1980s about her Monacan heritage from an uncle in Maryland. Now she's secretary of the Virginia Council on Indian, a state government advisory panel. The Monacan tribe owns more than 100 acres on and near Bear Mountain and dreams of buying hundreds more, developing a retirement home and a daycare center. These Amherst Indians won recognition from the General Assembly in 1989, 5 years after Lynchburg pediatrician Peter Hoke laid out a Monacan genealogy for what was once called a lost tribe. A lost tribe, the lost tribes. Hoke detailed his finding in book, and the recognition has contributed to a spirit of resurgence among the Monacans. Indian people of Amherst and adjoining Rockbridge counties were a special target of Plecker, he wrote in a 1925 letter. The Amherst Rockbridge group of about 800 similar people are giving us the most trouble. Through actual numbers and persistent claims of being Indians, some well-meaning church workers have established an Indian mission around which they rally. Across the state in eastern Virginia, home for tribes that once made up the Powhatan Confederation, the Powhatan, a lot of tribes under that,